So, today we're going to be going over the parts of a plot, and hopefully, this is review for all of you. But it's always nice to get a refresher from time to time, especially if it's something that you don't think about as often as other things. A lot of times we're taught this, and then it's pushed back in the past, and we don't touch on it as much as we should. So, this is a great refresher for you. Go ahead and take notes as we go. So, what is plot? The definition of plot is the order of events in a story. So, it explains why things happen in the story, how things happen. It's basically everything that happens within the story. It's a summary of the story. Usually, the plot is going to follow a certain order. That's the one you know in that diagram below. But sometimes they have to change the order a little bit depending on the genre. For example, we know an exposition gives all the background information. So if an author's writing a mystery story, they might not have the exposition at the beginning, or it might be very short because they don't want to give you too much background or explain too much of what the characters are doing, because then that kind of gives away the mystery. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to follow this order. So, like I said, the first part is the exposition. That is the part that the author uses to set up the story. It's going to tell us about the characters, it's going to tell us where we are usually, what time period. It kind of gives us everything we need to know in order to understand the rest of the story, right? So, if we have two characters that really don't get along and this whole thing's about their epic feud, if we don't understand what started the feud, we might not understand why they're mad at each other at all, and why people are acting the way they are. So the exposition serves as an opportunity for the author to give you everything you need to know, and basically kind of everything that's going on in the author's mind as they write this story, because typically they already have a vision of what's happening and they need to let you in on it. So, the rising action is the next part of the story, and this is the series of events that leads up to the conflict. So, we haven't hit the conflict, there's not this huge, you know, scary or intense moment yet, but it's building to it. It's the part of the story that builds you up for the problem ahead. So, we know that there's this epic battle raging in our story. We know that there's probably going to be a war, but war doesn't just happen randomly. There's always baby steps that lead up to it. And maybe somebody said something, or, a crazy action was done that's going to lead to like a tipping point in war. That's the rising action. That's what stuff has happened to get us to this boiling point where we can't take it anymore. Or, what stuff has happened to make the excitement explode. So, the part that everyone always remembers is the climax, because that's the exciting part. That's when everything hits the fan. That's the expression, right? And it's this problem has reached its peak, a war has started, or there's this big moment that's exciting, right? This is the part that makes us want to read on. Typically, if we're reading a story and we get to the climax and I say, "Okay, put your books away," people are going to get angry because they want to know what happens next. It's the part you've been waiting for this entire book. It's the most exciting part. It's the turning point, and it's kind of all downhill from here, right? This is the part that we've needed to know all along. So once we've hit the climax, we now move into falling action. And this is the section of the plot where everything has begun to get resolved. Is it fixed yet? No. This is not where we see everything at peace again and everything perfect, but we start seeing the solution to the problem, and the characters are working towards the solution. They've maybe found the solution, they're starting to put it into place, but not everything's at peace again. It's not until the resolution where we see that. The resolution is the ending of the story. This is where the problem's been solved. Everything's at rest again. Tension's cleared up. They've tied up all the loose ends. A lot of times they tell you where the characters are now and what happened after that event, whatever it might be. But the resolution kind of answers all your questions, it resolves everything for you. So here's the entire plot diagram again: exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. And individually, each part of those stories doesn't seem like much. But no story can stay together if it's missing just one part. So if you take out that exposition, we're lost. That's why it is a mystery story, right? We don't know what happened in the background. If we take out the rising action, it's like the climax comes out of nowhere. It's like we're told, here are these characters, they live here, and bam, now they're at war. And we have no idea what happened. If you take out the climax, the story's really boring. Here are these characters, they're picking on each other, but now they're friends again. And it's like, wait, that's it? That's all that happened? If we take out the falling action, we never find out how they fix their problems. And if you take out the resolution, you can't see the characters at peace again. It's like, boom, they're at war and now they're fixing it, and that's it. And you never see if they got resolved. Plus, really, if you stop reading before the resolution, you're just a quitter. So, we need all the parts of a plot in order for a story to make sense and be exciting. That is all that you need to know about the parts of a plot.